Hi, everyone. And hopefully you can all hear me. Let me know if you can't. Thanks so much for coming to this year's Discover Dance virtual event. My name is Miguel Gutierrez, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of World Arts and Cultures Dance at UCLA. Thank you so much for your interest in our program and for making the time to be with us here today. We will begin with a land acknowledgement. The UCLA Department of World Arts and Cultures acknowledges the Tongva peoples as the traditional land caretakers of Tovangar, which comprises the Los Angeles Basin and the South Channel Islands. We're grateful to have the opportunity to work for the Tara'achatom, the indigenous peoples in this place. As a land grant institution, we pay our respects to Hanukvitam, the ancestors, Ahi Hiram, the elders, and Iohinkem, our relatives and relations, past, present, and emerging. So our department is called World Arts and Cultures Dance. We call it WACD for short. It's situated within the School of Art and Architecture at UCLA. The department has over 15 professors, over 20 adjuncts and lecturers, and a staff of about 10 amazing folks who keep the department running and buzzing, I would say. We're housed in Gloria Kaufman Hall on the north side of campus, in a beautiful building that has about 5 studios and 2 theaters, all ADA accessible. I'm going to introduce other folks who are on the call from UCLA. We have Vic Marks, who is a professor in WACD and who's been here for over 20 years. We have Ashley Pham, who is one of the 2 academic advisors in the Student Affairs Office for our department. We have students, Ariel Lands, Sydney Richardson, Lexi Massey, and Christopher Aguirre. We also have Mark Goebel, who's a sound engineer for the department and running all the tech today. Thank you, Mark. And we have from the School of Art and Architecture, Laura Young, who's the Director of Enrollment Management, and Claudia Mayas, who up until very recently was the Assistant Director of Enrollment Management, and who is also a recent graduate of the WACD program. So this is what's going to go down today. First, we're going to let you know that you can put your questions into the chat at any time. So you don't have to wait to the end. You can be like putting questions as we go. We're going to start by showing you a video that shows you, gives you kind of insight to the movement practices classes, the studio practices classes of the undergraduates have access to in the department. Then Vic is going to talk about the curriculum and the culture of the department. Then we're going to have a student panel moderated by Ariel with Sydney, Lexi, and Christopher. And that's going to be a great opportunity for you to hear why they chose UCLA, what makes the department unique, and lots of other great stuff that they'll talk about. Then Claudia is going to talk through the application and the application requirements. Vic is going to talk a bit about the audition video requirement, and I'm going to speak a little bit about the new writing questions, or the writing questions that are specific to WAC-D application. And then we're going to stop the recording and we're going to open it up to any questions that haven't been answered yet. And we'll have a Q&A with everyone who's here. And hopefully by the end of the session, you'll come away with a really clear sense of what the department is, what the program is like, and all the information that you need to do the application to the best of your ability to feel good about it. All right, so let's go ahead and start with this video. Thank you.
5, 6, 7.
And really hold that stillness. So you arrest and find stillness. Can you add that layer? Like, what's the sound of skirting?
Should be thinking out loud, don't just be just proud. Now they stuck in the corner.
That just seemed to encapsulate or be iconic of the whole thing. Do you like yourself? What do you think about you?
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. Here we go.
What are we doing right now? And what's another stop? Popping. Popping.
I think we're gonna go to Vic now, right? Yeah.
That sounds good. Hi, everyone. My name is Vic Marks, and I'm the Vice Chair for Undergraduate Study in the Department of World Arts and Cultures Dance, as Miguel said, WACD. I'm a choreographer and a professor, and I teach our core course known as Global Perspectives on Dance, as well as composition and improvisation. And I'm also the chair of UCLA's Disability Studies minor. All of our faculty in the Department of World Arts and Cultures Dance, in the dance major, are renowned artists who, in addition to working with you, have active careers as innovators in the field of dance. WACD is a small department in a very large university. Our department holds a dance major and a major in World Arts and Cultures. Both degrees share a focus on the arts as an expression of culture. Students in our department get to know one another and become a creative, intellectual, and friend community from their very first quarter, which is quite unusual in a large university. I want to tell you a little bit about the dance major, what is comprised in our program. We focus on 3 essential elements of artistic development for dancers. 1, technique. 2, dance making. And 3, dance thinking, or what we call critical dance studies. A little bit about technique. Students work to gain proficiency in 2 of our primary movement practices: modern, postmodern, hip hop, West African dance, and improvisation. We also offer elective practices that include ballet, yoga, martial arts, as well as, on a more rotating basis, forms such as Odissi, tap, contact improvisation, Korean dance, among others. Dance making. Students participate in several courses in which they practice making dances. And we ask, what can happen when a person puts something new into the world in the form of a dance? So this is a place in which we make things up and we challenge ourselves to solve problems or respond to prompts. And then dance thinking, or as I said, critical dance studies. That's about understanding the ways in which dance tells us about who we are or who we can be. We ask questions like, what is this thing I call my body? How are bodies understood within different contexts? What histories do we, our bodies, ourselves, carry with us? How does dance participate in, construct, support, and change communities? And fundamentally, why does dance matter? Because it does. We're not a conservatory. Our BA program is designed to support young dance artists to become change makers in their chosen field. Our graduates have made careers as independent artists, as dancers in companies, as movers and shakers in community nonprofits and activist groups, in government arts agencies, involved in environmental activism, healthcare, public service, as participants in theatrical event productions, as educators in K-12 settings, and workers within arts foundations, to name a few. Many of our students double major or take on one or more of the university's freestanding minors in addition to the dance major. And when you apply to our program, we consider your application an introduction to you as a whole person. There's no cookie cutter dance student. We look for your ability to express yourself as a writer and dancer, and look for evidence of your creativity and curiosity. But more on this later in the program today. Thank you.
Great, now we're going to transition to the student panel. Ariel, Sydney, Lexi, and Christopher, you're up.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Discover Dance. My name is Ariel. I'm a third-year dance and sociology double major, and I would love for each of our panelists to just start with an introduction, give your name, pronouns, your year, major, majors, minors, and just how you're feeling today before we get into it.
I can start just to break the ice. Hi everyone, my name is Christopher Aguirre. I am a fourth year and I'm a double major in dance communications with a minor in entrepreneurship. I'm super excited. I remember being on the other side of the Discover like 4 years ago. And I'm super excited to be here on the panel and just give you more insight on UCLA, the dance major, and the possibilities that come with being a UCLA student. So thank you for having us. We're super excited.
I can go next. Hi, everyone. My name is Lexi. I'm a third year pursuing a double major in physiological science and dance, obviously. Yeah, just like Chris was saying, very excited to be here and to answer your guys' questions.
All right, hopefully UCLA Wi-Fi does not drop on me, but I'm Sydney. I'm a second year and I'm a dance major, and hopefully by next quarter a theater minor as well. I'm just really pumped to be here with everybody.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to just jump right into our first question. And because this is all around the dance major, I just want us to talk about our dance experience before coming into UCLA. What was our body holding? What informed us before we entered this department? And we'll start with you, Christopher. We'll go the same order.
Okay. Repeating the question, why I chose UCLA, correct? Just what
No. What was your dance experience before entering UCLA?
Yes. So I started dancing in high school, so freshman year. So I was super new to dance and I fell in love with it through just watching videos and just experimenting more with what I was doing in high school. So I did a lot of theater. I was in show choir, so I did a lot of like theater work and stage production. So production was always a huge aspect of my upbringing in dance. And then I started doing more hip hop and West African, and that became like my core in high school. So coming into UCLA, I was really looking for a program that catered to what I liked. And I feel like the program had authentic training in every style that was my go-to. So I feel like my dance experience to UCLA like was a full transition of what I was already before.
All right. So for me, my experience growing up, I was put in dance because I was born pigeon-toed. And so it was just supposed to be like a form to correct it. But yeah, so I did like this little tap ballet combo classes like as a young toddler. But then I didn't really start like dancing till probably I was about like 8. So a lot of time in the studio since then, and I did a competitive studio I stuck with one for like 10 years. And I mostly focused on contemporary jazz, musical theater, and a bit of like hip hop. And that was my experience in dance.
All right. For me, I started dancing at the age of 10 in jazz, lyrical, ballet, baby girl, hip hop, because, it wasn't real hip hop, but, no hate, no shade. And a bunch of different styles. And I went on in high school. That's when I really realized I wanted to dance professionally. And so I started my own dance club at the time that was focused on like jazz and hip hop. And then I also was co-enrolled in a community college and was training in ballet and modern technique prior to dancing in college. But yeah, UCLA really had everything I needed and wanted, hence why I'm here.
Awesome. Also, that story is adorable, Lexi. I've never heard that before. And I think that's the cutest introduction to dance. And you guys kind of already touched on it, but I wanted to see if we could get a little bit more detailed based on your dance experience and based on what you guys might have known about other dance programs before coming to UCLA, what made you choose to study dance at UCLA and what makes our program different? So let's be a little specific for the students that are looking into WACD.
Yeah, so I auditioned for like NYU, Irvine, and to me, visiting the campus was a huge deal breaker just because I wanted to see how being on campus was like and getting the whole student experience. And I remember walking into Kauffman and being like, whoa, like it's my school, like it's gonna be my school. And I think the main specific reasons were the faculty. I had, during the audition, I had talked to some of the professors, and I truly, you truly got the experience of taking a class at UCLA. And to me, that was a huge deal breaker, just the way they treated us and the way they provided a class. Another reason was it wasn't a conservatory. So we really got a full range to really explore artistry and not just do like 2 styles of dance. We really got to do different dance forms. And I like to say I'm a diverse dancer. So that was a huge deal breaker because it had West African, hip hop, contemporary, modern, all these different things that you could choose from. And I've taken all those classes, and to me, it's been super fulfilling. And I think just in general, it's in LA, so location based, you're close to everything. And even outside of dance, there's so many different dance opportunities outside of UCLA. And I've really taken advantage of those just because in LA, everything's like 20, 30 minutes away. So it's super helpful to get yourself in the dance scene and really participate in the dance community.
Yeah, I have to start off with saying also, like Chris, something about like the Kauffman, like walking into the building like during auditions, it feels so like nice in here. But yeah, so when I was deciding colleges, I was deciding between Stanford, UCLA, and Chapman. So very like random assortment. And when it came down to deciding, I think I knew that I wanted to pursue both like a major outside of dance, just to fulfill my own like interests in like the sciences, as well as pursuing dance. And to get both of those at like a high level, like UCLA was the choice for that. And yeah, again, like Chris was saying, just like I really appreciate the department's like diversity in classes, like versus like a conservatory program, just being able to take, like I had never taken West African like continuously for like a while until I came here. And I really got to like enjoy that experience and even perform in like a faculty project for West African. And that's something I never would have experienced if I hadn't come to WACD.
Awesome. When I was choosing schools, I was between Chapman, LMU, and UCLA. I'd also applied to like USC, you know, all the other conservatories. But really the main thing that made me choose UCLA was that it wasn't a conservatory. I wanted to really have autonomy over my choreographic voice. And also be exposed to styles I wasn't previously exposed to, like coming from a studio background. I mostly had a lot of Western training under my belt. So the fact that I got to take like Armenian dance last year and Afro-Brazilian was really cool because that wasn't offered to me prior in my training or in my area either. And then also, I will just drop this in for free. As a low-income student, UCLA has the best aid. So do not be worried about UCLA supporting you in that way. So that was another major reason for me too. And then with the department itself, just like all the kids who are in this department, all the professors and our alumni are all so diverse and so talented. And so being in this community of so many different types of dancers and movers and creatives is so inspiring. And so every time I'm in a class where I'm creating work, I gain inspiration every time with each assignment. And so I think it's just a really great collaborative space to be in. And I was a pandemic admit, so I didn't get to see Kauffman, but when I came, I was like, oh, this building is gorgeous. I get to be here every day. So yes, that definitely helps too.
I love those answers. And I think I'm just going to throw mine in there too, just because I have a little bit of a different experience. I am a street dancer. The core of my training is in hip hop and house, which is an Afro-Latin style. So it was really, really important for me to find a department where I could see myself reflected as an artist and as someone who could actually learn from the teachers there. So where I applied to for dance was really limited. I didn't really go to too many schools because I had no interest in conservatory. I had no interest in being in a department that didn't have hip hop. And UCLA is the first school, I believe, to have such a developed hip hop department. We're like #1 in the country, and we're the only one in the country that has a department like this for hip hop. So it was kind of a given, especially after doing the UCLA summer dance. and performing arts intensive, which I would encourage everyone to do if you can. That was the most amazing experience that really changed my life, my junior year of high school. And it gave me a little bit of knowledge on how it is to live on campus, to experience the dining halls, to experience Kaufman, the professors, as well as actually taking the movement courses. So that dance intensive gave me all the insight I needed to know that UCLA was the place I wanted to be. So yes, it's a very, very special department, especially the theory, because a lot of times when you dance in school, you only do the training, but UCLA helps us to understand how dance is greater in the context of the world, and to know that like what we do as dancers goes beyond us. And so it's really empowering for when you graduate, you know, your movement and your artistry is going somewhere rather than just staying at your college. All right. So for our next question, you guys kind of touched on the faculty piece, and I really would love these students to hear, what are performance opportunities? What can we do in this department, both in and out at UCLA? And what have you guys been involved in personally when it comes to performing?
Perfect. I'll start with the main one that we're all participate in. So I'm currently a producer for Wax Smash, and Wax Smash has become one of the biggest dance major events, just because it's one of the only events where we really get to showcase our artistry and just even dance, period. I'm one of the producers. So basically it happens every March or February, and it's a student-led produced show. So it's all the students and we all do everything, the funding, performing, all of it. And what basically happens is we usually have 12 creators, which are students, and we have like a big audition where all the dance majors get to audition to be in a piece. And from there, we watch everyone dance. We learn like two phrases, and then we audition, and then we put on this really big show. And to me, that's been the most fulfilling. I was a choreographer last year, and just being able to create and showcase my work is nerve-wracking, but it's an amazing experience to just put all the stuff that you've been learning throughout the year into put it into fruition. So I really got to see my work and all my time at UCLA like come to life. And it was really amazing just to work with students and my colleagues, and just getting all the faculty to come to our shows and see what you put on is the best feeling ever. I think all the student panel has been in Wax Smash. So I highly encourage that. I was also, I did a capstone piece. So the grad students also have a showcase. And if they invite you, you get to do I did mine for 2 quarters. And it's really just about exploring your artistry and exploring like their depth of work. So my year, we explored masculinity, I can pronounce that, masculinity, and what that means to all of us. So I think it was an amazing way to reflect on myself and my identity, and as well as being in part of such an in-depth piece that implemented a lot of exploration. So those were some of the things that I got to do. But I also do stuff outside of UCLA, and I'll talk more about that later in this panel.
Yeah, so like Chris was saying, Wax Smash is like a very major performance opportunity. I would highly encourage you guys, if you do end up coming to WACD, to participate in it. Just getting to be a dancer in it, like last year and then this upcoming year, has been a really great time just to be in rehearsals with everyone. Honestly, not even just like the performance part, but just to be in rehearsals with everybody, because in this department, it's pretty small. So you get to really know most people in this department. So getting to see everyone like in rehearsal time is a really great time. And then besides Wax Smash, I was also in an MFA project that was last spring. And again, that was something where you have a lot of rehearsals going into it. And I think we rehearsed for like 3 quarters before having like the full length work performed. And that was my first time being in a full length production, like, and being on stage for like an hour, like no break sort of thing. But very fulfilling. And I think it's definitely like helped me like kind of like shape like how I want to like do dance in the future. And then one other project that I was a part of was a faculty project in my freshman year. Like I mentioned earlier, it was for West African, specifically the Lambon style. And it was over Zoom. So I was so amazed by our faculty. Her name was Ame. And she was so on top of it with getting everybody to film and to put together this really like high quality video of her faculty project that she envisioned while in the middle of COVID. So yeah, that was a really great time and experience. I would highly encourage you guys to just like get to talk with like your faculty and get to be involved in their like projects, because it's really special. Yeah.
All right, there's my mic. Okay. I was in Wax Smash last year. Shout out to Toledo, her piece, and Lexi, because she was killing in that piece. When I tell you, so dancing in that group was just such a beautiful experience. They were like my little family, and also getting to understand like the process of a peer of mine's creation was really cool. And then I also was in an MFA capstone. Also, shout out to Ariel over here, this queen icon legend, who was also dancing with me for Rashida's capstone, Akata, which definitely was beautiful and important. It highlighted the Black woman experience, not just in life, but also in this department. And so it's just a really great opportunity, one, to learn under MFA, but also to get to create my own work within that piece. So it's very special in my heart. And then also last year, I worked at the Fowler Museum. I was their or event coordinator for their Fowler Out Loud series. And so basically that whole concert series is to highlight arts students in the departments of World Arts and Culture's dance, the Broad Center, the music department, and theater. And so it's a great opportunity for dance majors, MFAs, and non-dancers and dance majors alike to create for the community, because Fowler hosts it outside in their outdoor theater. So you can hear the music from all over campus, and it's just a really fun time to bring community together. So yeah.
I also wanted to add that all these experiences give you a true professional experience and really prepares you for like the workforce or the work field. Just because when you do work with choreographers, it's very professional, like rehearsals, being on time, and just putting together a production, which is super important when you're a dancer, trying to get that experience from somewhere. And I do feel like UCLA prepares you to go to that next level. So when you're outside of UCLA, you are prepared for companies that you audition for or any jobs that you might get. So super important things to like look at.
Thank you so much for that answer. Thank you so much to the student panelists, Ariel, Christopher, Lexi, and Sydney. It's so wonderful to hear from you directly, and it's really critical, I think, for the applicants to hear your voice about your experiences here. So really, really thank you so much. They're going to stick around for the Q&A in a little bit. So if you have questions that are forming, please feel free again to put them right into the chat or hold on to them when we go to that part. So we're going to segue now, and Claudia Mayos is going to explain the WACD, the application to UCLA and WACD's program. Claudia, take it away.
Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen. And hopefully a presentation is showing up for everybody on their screens. Is that awesome? Okay, so thank you, Miguel, and thank you to the students. That panel was amazing, and I'm so grateful to experience that. So thank you for sharing all of that. I'm just going to spend a few minutes now going through the more logistic side of the application process for all of our prospective students here today. We're just going to talk briefly about what this process looks like as it is coming up soon. So just to give you a little bit of context before I jump right in, the School of the Arts and Architecture oversees, as has been mentioned, the World Arts and Culture / Dance Department, as well as other majors in the school. We also oversee a few public units, and one of those came up. The Fowler Museum is one of them. We also have the Hammer Museum and the Center for the Art of Performance, which you can learn all about later, but I just wanted to contextualize and let everyone know how broad and far-reaching our school is on campus. But to get into the more application side of things, we're going to talk today about how to apply to UCLA Arts, specifically to the dance majors. So the admission process to UCLA Arts, and when I say that, I mean our 5 majors within the School of the Arts and Architecture, but we're talking about dance today. So the process to apply is a direct entry application process. It's a twofold application that involves applying to UCLA via the UC application and then submitting a supplemental application directly to your chosen major for department review. So please note that UCLA only considers one major at the time of your application. So if you all are wanting to be submitting the supplemental application for dance, you must list dance as your first choice major to UCLA. And then the dance department will review your supplemental application and portfolio, audition, whatever comes in that supplemental application. And then they make recommendations to general campus, who verify your minimum academic eligibility for freshman or transfer status. So just to give you an idea, students who are applying to majors within the School of the Arts are undergoing both a very specific review process for your major, as well as a general holistic consideration to UCLA. So just to go over some important dates and deadlines, the general UC application opened up on October 1st and will be due on November 30th. So as I mentioned before, just make sure that if at this time during this process you want to be applying to dance and submitting that supplemental application, you do need to list dance as your first choice to UCLA on the UC application. And then the second part of that process I mentioned is the arts supplement. And we'll go over in just a minute about the supplemental application for dance. That is due for dance majors on December 15th. So it's still a bit of time. Just to go over some academic requirements for first-year students or freshmen, you do need at least a 3.0 GPA as a California resident and 3.4 or higher for an out-of-state or international student. In California, we look for the A through G requirements, or that's just how they're labeled in California, but essentially these are a series of 15 UC required college preparatory courses that are listed on the University of California's website if it's unclear for anybody. Also, this has already been established, but it is continuing permanently. So just as a friendly reminder, the UC system is test-free, so we will not be looking at or considering any SAT or ACT test scores. And then for transfer students, typically general campus at UCLA is looking for applicants at the junior level or at junior standing, but in the School of the Arts and Architecture, we also consider sophomore level transfers, which means that you have fewer than 60 semester or 90 quarter units. You do need at least a 3.0 GPA at the time of the application. And in terms of academic coursework, you do need 2 English courses in composition and critical reading and writing, and 1 math or quantitative reasoning course with a prerequisite of intermediate algebra or higher. You would need a B average across all 3 of those courses, and they would need to be done by the spring before you would be arriving at UCLA. And just to clarify, this is for transfer students. And so the supplemental application is a huge part of the application process to dance at UCLA. And although it is not due yet, you can access the worksheet. We do have a worksheet listed on our website that lists all of the requirements for the application. So you can start preparing your materials now or at any time. So just as a visual cue, you can access that supplemental worksheet right now at our website, arts.ucla.edu/apply. There's a lot of information on that page, but if you scroll down just a little bit, you will be able to find the dance supplemental application worksheet listed under that section, undergraduate supplemental application requirements. And then just to give you an idea of what you'll find on that worksheet, it's a lot more detailed and clearer to follow, but I just wanted to list out those requirements for you now. You'll find that you will be needing to provide a little bit of information about your academics and extracurriculars, transcripts, a department statement, which will be talked about in a little bit, the video audition, which will also be discussed in a few moments, a self-portrait multimedia project, and an optional optional experience resume. And the self-portrait, just to give a little bit more insight, is an opportunity for you to be providing a different approach to your creative introduction to who you are. So you can present in one medium, several mediums. Some examples of what can be submitted are performance, creative writing, visual artwork, photography. But you have a lot of options. And again, it's just a way for you to be presenting even more of yourself. So the supplemental application is your opportunity to be showing the department who you are and what your creative work is. I know Vic touched on that a little bit in her introduction. So make sure that you're showing work that you are proud of, what you consider your best in terms of representing who you are, and make sure, this is from our standpoint, is just make sure you're focusing on all of the different elements. You'll be submitting personal insight questions for the UC application, and your audience for that writing sample aren't necessarily going to be artists, but you do have the opportunity to submit the department statement to the dance review team who are artists and who do have a little bit more insight into your medium of creativity. So make sure you're spending some time focusing on that. And again, Miguel will be covering that more in a little bit. And then when it comes time to be submitting the supplemental application, I also just wanted to provide a visual cue. You will be submitting that at our portal, which is supplemental.arts.ucla.edu. This information is also listed on the worksheet as well. So there are lots of ways for you to be making your way to this portal. It is not open yet. It will be opening on November 15th, and you should gain access to the portal approximately 1 to 7 business days after submitting the USEEK application and after November 15th. So please note that at the beginning of the application cycle, usually there's a little bit of delay in us getting the information. So please make sure to be patient, especially at that beginning part right after November 15th. However, if it is long after November 15th, if you're not hearing anything from our office about gaining access to the portal after at least 7 business days, please feel free to reach out to us. And then that's it for the information I'm going to be providing you. I know it's kind of a quick just summary of the application process, but please feel free to send any questions that you may have to our email address. That's admissions@arts.ucla.edu. Feel free to ask any questions. That's our job. We're happy to help guide you through the different areas of the process of this application. Also feel free to check out our website that I mentioned before. There's a lot of helpful information. And of course, we also have social media too, if you're ever wanting to look a little bit more at what the school is doing, what students are up to, and things like that. So that's it for the information I'm sharing with you today, but I do want to go ahead and pass it along to Vic and Miguel, except for I also want to make sure that we'll be following up with an email as well after this. So I just want to reiterate, you can always contact us and we're happy to answer any questions you may have. So I'm going to now pass it back to Vic and Miguel, who will be speaking a bit more about the video audition and the writing sections of the supplemental application.
Thank you so much, Claudia. That was really clear and helpful. And as Claudia stated, all this information can be found on the website on the URLs that Ashley has been dropping into the chat. And I can just follow up and say that the people that you need to ask these questions to are very helpful and they want you to succeed. So please don't be shy. And if you have questions and if you have concerns or not sure about something about the application, you can always reach out to get some answers. So now Vic is going to speak about the the audition videos. So take it away, Vic.
Okay. Am I on the screen?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. I still see the video about the audition. But I'll talk about that. So there are 2 video that you'll submit. And just in terms of the movement video, just 30 seconds, we want to know more about the way you move, and there is absolutely no preference for a particular dance form. Whatever it is that gives you joy, that's been your passion, that you've been studying and developing, oh, we want to see you at your fullest in that. So I'm talking now about the 30-second movement video. And in addition to that, very importantly, is a longer video where we ask that you present something that you've made. And it says here, we'll be evaluating your potential for composing dances. But what I really want to say is we're interested in the way you think out of the box. We're interested in the ways in which you have an original voice. We don't have rules about what a dance is. So where you video yourself doing it, your kitchen, the dance studio, under a tree, we're just very excited to meet you as your own person and what you think a dance is or can be in a 60-second slot. So it's very, very open. And again, the ways in which you share with us your appetite and curiosity for having your own voice about what dancing can be is very, very exciting and of interest to us. I think that's it, and I'm happy to answer any questions as we go along.
Thanks, Vic. And specific to the WAC-D application, we have these questions. What is dance and who can be a dancer? So as it says on the application, these are open questions. There's no correct response. So we're not asking you to say this person can and this person can't. We want to hear more from you. We want to hear about how you think about dance, how you think about dancing, and how your understanding of dance and dancing is informed by your cultural, social, historical, and aesthetic frameworks, right? Beyond popular definitions, beyond popular conventions. So this is not intended to be a kind of like research paper answer. This is really an opportunity for you to speak personally about what dance means to you and what dancing and who can be a dancer means to you. So please feel free here in this portion of the application to tell your story, to tell us a little bit more about why you are interested in dance and what it has come to mean for you, right? Remember that the reviewers will be reading a lot of applications, right? And we're, I would say, pretty good at sniffing out when people respond in writing with what they think they're supposed to say. And I think it's always more interesting as a reviewer and as a reader of anything really to hear what a person wants to say and to hear them speak honestly and personally. And it allows us to have a little bit more context for who you are. This is information that is very different from the stats and the numbers that the admissions officers will be seeing, right? So just want to emphasize that. And again, if you have any questions about the questions, we can get into that in the Q&A. So I think what we're going to do now is transition. We're going to stop the recording shortly and open it up to the Q&A with everyone who's here from UCLA. But before I do that, just in case anybody who's attending the call needs to go, thank you for coming. Thanks for making the time, like I said, up top. And all of this recording will be available to you through the WAC-D website, and it'll be on the WAC-D YouTube page. So if you don't remember something that was said, or you're like, wait, I want to go back to what Claudia said about the application, or what Sydney was saying about the experience of being at UCLA, you'll have access to that recording and it'll just be there. So thank you very much. Thanks for being with us. Stay safe. And yeah, we're going to close up the recording and go into the